Yo, what's up? I want to talk a little bit about the pros and the cons of getting rich, I guess, at a young age. And also, I want to preface this first by saying there are many cons. People like to act like a victim every chance they get. There really aren't that many cons. I think all the cons happen on your way to getting rich, right? Like not having any time, not being able to hang out with your friends, everyone thinking you're crazy, your loved ones thinking you're losing your mind, and not having time. And then I think as you continue to grow and as you continue to learn and eventually make money, all of the pros that you wanted, like time freedom, materialistic things, whatever it is, you start to get it. And I'm entering that stage right now where I'm pre-rich. I'm literally pre-rich. By the end of this year, I think I'll be multi-six figures liquid. It's crazy. And only a few months ago, was I literally poor, dirt poor. I think I had around 10 bands in my bank account in December of 2024, and then over the next 4 or 5 months that literally went down to 300. Just some very poor decisions. A lot of money was lost. I went into debt. Technically went into debt, not technically, but technically did. And the entire time on paper, it looked like I was doing well. It looked like I was making money, but I just wasn't tracking the things that I should have tracked, right? Like payment processing, for example, refunds, chargebacks, payment processing holds, payment holds in the sense that reserves, But that entire time, it was pretty much only cons. And now that I'm making a little bit of money, actually passively, not just passively in the sense that I was in the shower the other day and I actually was just making money. I thought about it, I was like, oh my god, I'm making money right now. Outside of just e-com, where in e-com you're constantly on the edge, you're constantly worrying about ad account bans or payment processing issues or a fake DMCA, whatever. I was passively making money, and it was weird because for the first time I kind of had a sense that I was making it, right? I was making enough money, or I'm making enough money that I could drop out of college. I could do the things that I told myself 10 months ago that I would do when I started this journey. I could go and get my own place. I can afford to live by myself. And I'm saying this out loud and it's kind of hitting me a little bit wow, I've been doing this for 10 months. The first few months were just kind of bullshit because I was doing organic. Anyone coming from an organic dropshipping background, I first just want to tell you, stop doing organic. Please. The only reason you should be doing organic is if you're doing TikTok shop affiliate. That is, if any of you are super poor and you want to make some money while learning a skill instead of just being a waiter, go to TikTok shop affiliate. That's the current low, literally no barrier to entry. The only barrier to entry is getting an account with followers. And bro, if you have some money, you work a job for a week, go ahead, buy an account, $400. Okay, no excuse if you're in the US. Okay. Anyways, there aren't many cons. I think the biggest con that I'm seeing is how sad other people's lives tend to be when I look at mine objectively. Now, I think I'm a lot more behind than I'd like to be. You know, I wish I had started this e-com stuff years ago, and to be honest, I did, but I just gave up. I was like a lot of the people watching this video, you know, 95% of you watching this video just aren't going to make it. It's just math. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but 95% of you won't make it. In most videos it's 99, but I've actually cultivated a following of people who are consistent because of, you know, the content I produce. But most of the people watching this aren't going to make it, and I think it's really sad looking at someone else's life and knowing that their dreams and everything that they're chasing is just not going to work out, and that I'm seeing people work at Kroger, work at Food Line, whatever, knowing that maybe they have chased their dreams and they just gave up too quickly. And it's sad. It's sad because you have this beautiful life and you're living it bowing to another man for a paycheck, when in all reality it's possible. You know, I'm not going to say I had the hardest journey ever. You know, I come from a well-respected like family. Like, we have money. It's not like I was ever going to like go homeless, right? So I don't want to impede on anyone in that sense and saying that anyone can do it, because I know there are a lot of circumstances where you can't do it. You know, if you're homeless, if you know you live in poverty, it's going to be very difficult. Okay, but I'm saying for the average person who comes from something, who comes from, you know, a house and food and water, it's possible. And it's sad seeing people who try and give up and blame it on exterior circumstances and say that it's dead, it's not for me, whatever, because it's just bitch shit. It just is. It's you're a loser, and I would hate to be you, in all honesty. And I see people like that and I just get sad, because I think their life is beautiful, it's precious, and they aren't living it to the extent on what they should live. I think everybody, like, I've said this to my ex-girlfriend before many times, I think I love life more than most people. Like, I just love living. I love being present. I love hanging out with people. I love chasing stuff. Even before ecom, bro, I remember I was in Greece, and I wrote down in my journal, it's like, okay, when I get back from Greece, I'm gonna do one of the four things. I'm gonna either do business. That was like my way of saying it, was do business instead of ecom. I was like, I'm gonna be a businessman. I can either be a businessman, a YouTuber, a rapper, or an author. And so I was thinking logically, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to write books. I'm not smart enough to do that. So I then have rapper, YouTube, business. And I was like, probably can't become a rapper. Ian's already doing that. This is when Ian and Netspend and all of them were becoming really popular. I was like, I probably can't compete with them. All right, I can do business, and while I do business, I can do YouTube. And so those two things clicked to me, and now ever since then, I've been content with the concept of dying, because I know that I'm chasing my dreams. And I think people get very scared about death because they don't have really a life. You know, you don't really have a life when you aren't chasing something. So I think that's the biggest con, is that my eyes have just opened up in the sense that I see a lot of sadness in people, and I love my friends, but when I hear them talk about, man, this is the last 2 years of freedom we have before we graduate college and go off into the real world and have to work our 9 to 5s, it's just sad, bro. It's sad to me that they have to not only, one, think that, but two, actually live that, right? Like, it doesn't have to be that way, you know? I'm making more money now than an entry-level college graduate. So there isn't really much of a reason to be in college. So I could drop out, you know? I'd say that's the biggest con, is you kind of feel a little bit guilty about yourself. And people also try to make you feel guilty, because it's like, oh, you have this, and that. And these are just the smallest of the cons. Like, these things don't even matter, in all honesty. It's just, those are the only real cons. Like, there isn't much, you know. shit, I don't think I'm objectively happier now, but I'm definitely happy with that I have money in my, bank account that I can use. And I can kind of like, I bought this. Like, look at this. I bought this, what I'm wearing, I like going to the gym. I like gym wear. I bought this, bro. Look at this. I bought this pendant. Shit. Like, come on, that's fire. It doesn't have to be, a GT3 RS, a 20. Okay, it doesn't have to be that. I get the freedom, and now as I continue, I think, to make more and more money, I'm gonna have the freedom to decide whether or not I want to drop out of college, because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But look, I'm 20. I started making money finally, and you don't have to glorify the materialism. You don't have to get the nice cars and move to Miami and buy the fucking Automobile Piguet. Like, I'm a very family-oriented guy. Right now I'm living with my family during the summer. I love my family. Tomorrow I leave for New York City. A month from now I'm going to Shenzhen, China. Like, these are things that I wouldn't have been able to do if I gave up. Like, if I just gave up. If I gave up during the Shopify AUP bans, the Meta bans, the payment processing holds, the Skorts getting DMCA'd, InstaPH getting payment processing fucked, and then just not being able to turn profitable. If I gave up during any of that, if I gave up when people were making fun of me for organic dropshipping back in management class, those same kids are asking me for help now. As a matter of fact, they're probably fucking watching this video. I'm being dead ass. That same kid is asking me for help now. And I'm a good guy, so I'm helping him. But bro, if I gave up when they were making fun of me, I wouldn't be here. And I'm not saying I'm anything yet, I will be. I'll be the biggest in the world one day. But imagine I gave up now. I wouldn't ever get to be the biggest in the world. I would just be this micro influencer in e-com that fell off the face of the world, So yeah, in terms of pros and cons, the pros are everything. There aren't really any cons. And if I'm being honest, you just need to work until it works. Like, learn every day. You don't have to stick to just one very narrow thing either. It doesn't only have to be dropshipping, right? There are other vehicles. If you've been dropshipping for a few months, honestly, you haven't made it work yet, then there probably is an issue. You might have to take a step back and look at what you've been doing. Maybe what you've been thinking of what to do has been wrong. Genuinely, maybe dropshipping isn't for you, right? Maybe there's another vehicle that you can look into. But at the same time, you can't switch from one to another, have Goldilocks syndrome. Is that what it's called? The woman in the red dress, you can't see the woman in the red dress and go over to her, and then see the one in the gold and then the blue and just keep switching over, But you can't be retarded and just sit there and do the same damn thing every day and hoping it works. That's the definition of insanity, I think. But yeah, recently I've been just so blessed and grateful, honestly, to sit in my room at night and read my journal. My phone cut out, so I'm ending the video there. Peace out.